So when it comes to choosing a projector as far as a client is concerned, how do you go about recommending a projector for that use?
First, I usually ask what type of usage they're going to use it for. If they're going to watch, whether they're going to watch TV, whether they're going to be mostly watching movies, and how large the screen is going to be, and how far, obviously, they're sitting from the screen.
Okay. So let's say, for example, it's a typical media room, family room, some light around, so it's not a completely dark room. And the screen is, let's say, 100-inch diagonal, which is a very common size. Yeah. How would you go about and mix use both movies and games and things like that?
For mixed movies and watching games and TV shows, the standard the minimum requirement is not too high, right? So a common projector anywhere between around 4,000 minimum to about 12,000 will sit nicely in that category until you want to go for mostly movies, or you want to use scope screen and you want large screen. It goes back to what I mentioned earlier, that you only have that same amount of light source to spread across the screen. Then you may have to go with a brighter projector that can go easily $20,000, $25,000, or even if you want to go super large, then you got no choice. You have to go with laser projector that which price can go from 35,000 and up.
Okay. How important is calibration? A lot of projectors, manufacturers claim that they are already calibrated or mostly calibrated from the factory, so you can just basically plug and play. How important is calibration?
Actually, nothing can be calibrated from the factory, because especially with projector, you don't know what type of screen they use at the factory. You don't know what size screen, the color of the paint of the wall, the ceiling, the type of projector they use. The number of hours within the projector they have used. All those are the variables that taken into account when I calibrate.
Give me a quick summary of what calibration means. What are you actually doing when you calibrate a projector?
When I calibrate the projector, is I try to make the color, the black level, the brightness, the clarity, everything to be as close as possible as the studio standard. So I usually use that as a starting point before I tweak the projector further, or even TV, right? So I bring everything to the studio standard, taking into consideration your lighting condition, your wall color, your viewing distance. I take all that into consideration, and then if you prefer more reds from there, then I'll add more reds. Okay. But at least you have a reference standard, and in most cases, more than 95% of cases, my clients they all want to stop at a reference standard, and they don't go further.
Earlier, you mentioned that at least in 2019, the only projector brand that offers tone mapping and what was the other?
A black level.
Black level was JVC. Can you talk a little bit about that? Why is that so important?
First of all, black level. When you're playing with light, black is the basis of everything. We've known also from not only from physics, but also from the history of display. Pioneer used to have the blackest level panel on the market. Now the OLED panel has the blackest black level on the market as well. And the darker the black level you can achieve, the more the other colors and the brightness will pop out. So it gives that three-dimensionality and the lifelikeness on the image itself.
And in your experience, right now only JVC offers that.
Not that the other projector cannot offer a good black level, but JVC is the blackest of the black level available on the market.
Okay.
And secondly, we're talking about HDR. On a projector, no projector in the world is bright enough to do a full HDR like a regular TV. So compensation needs to be made by using tone mapping. And tone mapping cannot be done only with one tone mapping across the entire movie. Every single scene requires its own tone mapping. And JVC currently is the only one on the market that has frame adapt tone mapping. So every single frame will be analyzed by the projector, and the HDR will be tone mapped for that particular frame. And it's being done at the very minimum 24 times every single second.
Okay.